Yeah, mate, got me.
Welcome along to Group 9 Grand Final Day 2020. A surprise that we ever got here, but we are, which is absolutely fantastic that we've been able to get a season at all. And we come with the two best teams on Grand Final Day, which is what any supporter of any sport likes to see. Gundagai against Tumut. 3 matches, and you can't really split them. A draw and 2 matches decided by 2 points either way to each side. Steve Murphy in commentary, Adrian Purtell to join me a little bit later on. But first of all, we'll get to a man that's been following the Group 9 Rugby League action for a number of years now, and particularly closely this year. It's Prime 7 Wagga's Ned Balm. Barmy, welcome along to the coverage, mate. Tell us, you've had a look at these two sides pretty closely throughout the course of this year, and just talk us through. They've clearly, obviously, been the two best sides this year.
They really have. I mean, it's really of no surprise when you look at the lists. And the thing about these two teams is that a lot of teams, and we saw this year especially with the amount of recruiting that was happening around the competition, a lot of teams can be great on paper, and a lot of teams were great on paper this year. But the professionalism of both of these squads and the continuity and the fact that they're playing mostly juniors, they have this ability to just play exactly as they should. No moment is too big for them. And it says that everything, on this day especially, leads to a close game. It's hard to see it being a blowout. It seldom is between these two teams, and it hasn't been the entire time they've played this year.
Do you have a thought process on either side today, which one you think might get it done, or more importantly, how you might think one might get it done?
Well, speaking with a couple of guys early this week, Luke Burkery, Dean Bristow in particular, who one of the biggest things about this game is when it's a game that might be, a one-try scoreline or something like that, it comes down to discipline. It's a fiery game. The two teams make no mistake about it. They don't like each other, and that's the good thing. That's what we love so much about this rivalry. There's an intensity about it. There's a violence to it that we love. It sounds archaic, but we love it. And the fact is, it comes down to that discipline of whether, if there is some chippy play, if there is some chippiness, there is some argy-bargy, which team can avoid the push to the chest, rising up to hit somebody maybe in the face. Referee catches it, somebody sees the bin for a period of time, and you're down a man. Which team can avoid that stupidity, keep their level heads, keep cool, and make sure they put themselves in the best position to win?
It's interesting you say that, because when they met in the final a couple of weeks ago, that was the case. There was a lot of turnover ball. There was a lot of... both sides gave each other plenty of looks. Their defences held up well, but probably could have found themselves either side behind by a bit. So it will be really fascinating. You're expecting a fiery contest. I think we all are between these two sides. And I think what makes it really exciting is there's probably no genuine favourite, is there?
No, not at all. I mean, we've seen throughout the years that Gundagai they've had the Moz over Tumut. They've had their number for going on about a decade, but that tide has really turned in the past 12 months. I think it was the final round of last year where Tumut got them to get the minor premiership, and then they got them again in the semi-final, and then every single game since then. I think we've had essentially this is the rubber match. We've had a draw, we've had a win to both sides, and now they get to meet in the grand final to really assert their dominance and assert who is the better team in 2020.
Yeah, no, it's going to be certainly really exciting. So, a tip and a margin from you, please, Ned.
Good. Honestly, the safe pick of me says Gundagai because we're so used to seeing them, but I'm going to go with Tumut, and I'm going to go pretty low scoring affair, 12-10.
12-10. Okay. Well, it is a bit cloudy. I'm not sure of the forecast, but it does almost look like a bit of rain. So 12-10. We're in for another 2-point classic. Absolutely unbelievable. Ned, appreciate your time. We're going to hear from you hopefully later on in the game as well down on the ground with some interviews. But enjoy the match, and it should be a beauty. Thanks for your time.
5-minute warning to players. So 5-minute warning to players. They need to be ready to go for the national anthem in 5 minutes. Our teams today for our 4X Gold Group 9 First Grade 2020 Premiership. For the Gundagai Tigers, number 1 James Clark, 2 Charlie Budd, 3 Matt Lyons, 4 Dane O'Hare, 5 Jack Lyons, 6 Tyrone Gorman, 7 Derek Hay, 8 Joel Field, 9 James Smart, 10 Luke Berkeley, 11 Jake Elphick, 12 Royce Tout, 13, Aaliyah Taholo, 15, Arthur Collins, 16, Blake Dunn, 17, Seth Cottam, and 18, Damien Willis. For the Tumut Blues, number 1, Dean Bristow, number 2, Connor Masson, number 3, Greg Draver, number 4, Tavita Aroa Tui Navarre, number 5, Matthew Richards, number 6, Jacob Topham, number 7, Jordan Anderson, number 8, Zach Masters, number 9, Lachlan Bristow, number 10, Jared Pearce, number 11, Adam Pearce, number 12, Jacob Sturt, number 13, Michael Fenn, number 14, Tom Jeffries, number 15, Lewis Harrigan, number 16, Matt Hyde, number 17, Jacob McGrath. Tigers are coached by Alan Perry, and the Tumut Blues are coached by Dean and Lachlan Bristow.
So we're not too far away from the Group 9 Rugby League Grand Final for 2020 on All In Sports between the Gundagai Tigers and the Tumut Blues. Thanks to Ned Barr from Farm 7 in Wagga joining us a few moments ago to get his thoughts on the contest. Now joining me, Steve Murphy in the commentary box, is a man more than 200 games of professional football, of course in the NRL, particularly with the Penrith Panthers and Canberra Raiders, and of course he cuts his teeth these days as coach of the Albury Thunder side and re-signed for another year in 2021, which is terrific for that club down south. It's Adrian Purtell. And Pert, although you can't be here on this day, you know what it takes to in big games, and today is certainly a big game, mate. You must really, as an NRL and rugby league tragic, you must really look forward to days like this.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think driving up here, you kind of get that little bit of jealousy, I guess. You got 34 blokes in those dressing sheds right now with all the nerves hyped up after a tough year, getting through the COVID situation and get to play off for the premiership this year. So exciting times for Tumut and Gundagai, and this is the day that every player and club wants to be at. All
right, I'm going to ask you first of all, as a player, what are you going through in those rooms like now? Are you a sort of player that prefers to be left alone? Is that what's going through your mind, or what would be the last-minute preparation for some of those players?
Yeah, I guess that's the beauty of it. Everyone's got their own different sort of structures they like before a game. For me, I just like to talk a lot, get involved, get connected with all the other boys so you know they're on board. You can look them in the eye, get that talk going nice and early. But I know plenty of players who like to have their headphones on, get in the zone and pump themselves up that way.
What about as a coach? As a coach in this situation, would you be, would you want to be speaking to the players? I guess it's all about knowing the players in that case.
Yeah, I think, when you get to this point of the season, there's a reason why you've qualified for the grand final. You've done the work throughout the year. It's no mistake that you've made this occasion. So I think everyone should be really confident in the sheds, and that would be my message. Look, we've done the work. Now we just got to go out and enjoy all that hard work we've put in through the year.
Well, it's going to be an absolute fascinating game, Pert. We've seen these two sides throughout the course of the season. Like I said at the start in the intro, a draw and then 2 games by 2 points. So clearly there's nothing between them. But on paper, you've said to me off the record that on paper they're two very talented teams. And and it really can go either way today.
Yeah, it's no surprise that these two teams are here, and Gundagai have been a really successful side over the last decade, and Tumut have really upped the ante over the last 2 seasons in particular. So, like you say, on paper, it's hard to separate them, and their form guide against each other shows that as well. Like you say, 1 win apiece and a draw. So, I'm expecting a really close game today as well.
Okay, well, we're just moments away. The referees are out on the ground, which absolutely looks spectacular. McDonald's Park, we must say, here this afternoon. It's been presented very well. And Gundagai are the first side that'll make their appearance onto the turf at McDonald's Park. And they come out led by Luke Berkery, who had an outstanding final a couple of weeks ago. And they will be nice and greased up and set to go. Tumut won't be too far away before we get into the national anthem between these two sides. So where's a game like this? Where's it won and lost between two teams that are ultra even right across the field, Pert?
Yeah, I guess it's who holds their nerve the longest, which I don't think will be an issue for either of these teams. They've played in a lot of big games the last 2 years. So, like I said, they've done the work throughout the year. So nothing changes on this day. They just do whatever they've done throughout the previous, 9 or 10 games this year, and expect that will get them another win this year. And both teams will be full of confidence expecting that.
So Tumut, that is the cheers of their fans. The 2,500 allowed in the house today. An exception for the grand final, as the AFL Riverina Championship would have had in Wagga last weekend as well. Now both sides are starting to line up for their national anthem, so we're a little bit behind schedule of 4 o'clock start time today. We do apologise too for some breaks in transmission a little bit earlier on during the reserve grade game. Hopefully they have been resurrected now. We'll stand by for the national anthem.
First Australians participating today, and we thank all your people for the significant contributions you've made to the culture and strength of our great game. Thank you. If we could everyone can please stand, and we'll have a national anthem sung by Millie Owen.
Doesn't matter what stadium in the world, anytime you hear the national anthem, it makes the hairs on the back of the neck stand up. We're a wonderful rendition, and we're just moments away now for one of these sides to climb to the pinnacle. The Tumut potentially back-to-back. Final selection, Pert, margin?
Look, like I said earlier, I think it's going to be a really close game. I'm leaning towards Gundagai. I like their back line. I think Matthew Lyons is a key. Got that real X factor, so if he has a big game, but I imagine it being a low-scoring game. Two really good defensive sides. I'm going Gundagai 14-12.
14, another 2-point game, just like Ned. I like it. Well, if it turns out that way, everyone's in for a treat, and we are underway in the Group 9 Grand Final, and it's taken immediately by Luff, and he is wrapped up in a tackle by Masters. And now from dummy half, they go forward through Berkery. Captain of Gundagai gets it out to his own 30. And Luff passes inboard to Tay Hollow. Loved his game a couple of weeks ago, and lifting tackle there by the Tumut defence. Involved under that looked like Pearce. Now Luff quickly ball out wide across to Tout, who's bouncing off one defender in Ben. Getting out towards halfway, and now charging through here is Aiden Field. He gets right on the halfway mark here. So Luff and Gundagai possessing it. Beyond the kick comes via Hay. Down towards Bristow and waits for the bouncing ball here. Dean Bristow variety and quickly wrapped up by the Gundagai defence. So safe football to start, Pert.
Decent first set, mate. You'd be happy with that. Finish inside the opposition 20. So it's now up to Tumut to get in the groove and try and repeat that.
I know you weren't here a couple of weeks ago, but both teams turned the ball over a lot. They really struggled to even complete not just a set, but a couple of tackles, really. So it'll be interesting how they possess it early on and charging through with the ball here. Look like underneath that could have been Masters. And now Fenn goes up. Tehalo pulls him down alongside Berkery and also Luff. Anderson. The kick puts in, nice and deep down and taken pretty safely at the back by Smart, and he charges out beyond his own 20 and brought down to Windavai. We're going to love calling him on All In Sports so far this afternoon. He's one of our favourites, no question about that. A quick ball across, and this is O'Hare. Was in the fullback position a couple of weeks ago. And now Hay to Tehalo. Goes out, tackled and brought down by Pearce. So just shy of halfway here for the Tigers. No score early going in the contest. Just beyond 2 minutes played here in the Group 9 Grand Final at McDonalds Park. This is Tout. Luff back in board across to Berkery. Quick cutout pass. Field opens up for Lyons here. Lyons sees some open space. The dangerous centre charges towards the line. He's still going and Gundagai score first. A wonderful try by Matty Lyons across the line. And how about that brilliance, Adrian Purtell?
We spoke about him in the call earlier, didn't we, Murph? He's got that X factor. Came off a great play by Luke Berkery. I think everything's been pretty safe up until this play, but whenever you get a forward pass on the footy like that, it's always dangerous. And you give Matt Lyon that type of space, you just saw how dangerous he was. Great start by Gundagai.
Very threatening. That opened it up. It was interesting again. I keep going back to it, Pert, but a couple of weeks ago, he looked really dangerous, but just almost couldn't finish off the work or couldn't quite. It was almost game by him. And maybe that catches fire. Such an exciting play to watch. How was the turn of speed?
He still had a lot of work to do as well. He drew in the winger, beat the fullback. Great finish.
So how about that for a start? Just over. We'll pretty much smack bang, Pert, on 3 minutes in. Gundagai score first. A 4x goal try of the game. And now Luff to add the extras and to go 6-0 up. If you're ever going to get the nerves settled in a grand final, that's one way.
Great way to start, isn't it? I think you spoke about that game, a couple of weeks ago where there were plenty of drop balls. You'd like to think they got all that nervous energy. Two fierce rivals, so that comes into play in these games. So all that nervous energy looks like it's out because so far to this game, it's been some great skill.
No trouble for Luff, and the score goes to 6-0 Gundagai with a dream start in the grand final. Just brilliant stuff there by Matty Lyons. Jack Lyons in partnership. The winger out there, generally always looking dangerous together. That on that occasion, going solo. So Tumut on the back foot to start the game.
I think if you're Gundagai, starting like that, getting Matt Lyons to score that try, you just go back to him every time now. Just get the ball in his hands.
And deep down, O'Hare. Well, in fact, it's fallen down for Elphick. And Elphick brings it out to his own 20 or just beyond it in the end. Luff, high passes Hay and swings back inboard to Field, who charges into Pearce. And brought down just shy also alongside there in the 6, Toppin. Gundagai moving up towards halfway. So their ball security has been really good in their set so far. Teholo. This is Luff back to Berkery. Berkery charging. Thought about the pass in board across to Smart. The Tigers in a good position once more. Field brings it up. About 35 out now from the try line. Gundagai 6. Tumut 0. Hay puts a high ball, nice and deep. Hay camping underneath it and taking it pretty well in the end. A nice take there by Matt Richards. I think it was underneath that. A great take. Quickly Bristow up to Tawindavai. Took a couple to bring him down. 3, in fact, the big fella. Teholo and Elphick pick themselves up. Tawindavai. Nice little run there. As Tumut bring it out. Now Bristow quickly back in board across and charging here through Masters. So they get it out from their own 30 here, Tumut. Bristow switches back in board. Nice little pass across and found his teammate in Sturt. Jacob Sturt. Charging run, just shy. About 8 out from the halfway line. Anderson with a kick. Nice and deep, but a lob in Lyons' lap, and he's off again. He's off with a bit of pace. This time it's his brother in Jack. Now Gundagai through Matt. Matt Lyons, the try score early on in this game, brought down eventually, and Anderson trying the one-on-one strip. Gundagai looked very early on in this game, Pert. They look good.
Yeah, definitely. I think, it's only 7 minutes into this game of footy, but they're just slightly winning that arm wrestle, and by that, they're getting better field position, ending their sets deeper in Tumut's territory, and at the moment, just a little bit on top.
Pierce eventually getting his man down to ground level. That's Berkery. Now Luff back to Teholo. Teholo gets past Anderson, but couldn't slip past Pierce on the second tackle. And now Gundagai. Only 30 out from their line. A quick kick comes in underneath, but well taken at the back here by the 5 in Matt Richards. Kick there by Gorman. And Tawindavai again charges in the Teholo and also Berkery for good measure. So 40 out or 30 out from their own line here. Tumut, the Blues, Masters. It's out. 10 shy of halfway. Is inboard across to Fenn. Going beyond halfway here. So Tumut haven't had a lot of time in their forward half with possession yet, Bert. Might change now. Quick cutout pass by Toppin. Found its way back across over there to inside. It could have been Draber by the looks of it. Draber. Now Toppin is going to put the kick in. High underneath this is Smart. Just in from the in goal, and he brings it out nicely. About 8 from his own line.
Good finish to that set by Tumut. Gets Gundagai inside the 10. So now they've got to aim up in D here. Work really hard. Make Gundagai kick from deep inside their territory.
Barden, who had some good moments in that final a couple of weeks ago. Bring it out. Elphick. The pass across to O'Hare, who's brought down. Now, charging and back down again is Elphick. Luff. Looking for Berkery. Didn't throw the dummy in the end. Just elected to run into Anderson. And absorbed the tackle. Jordan Anderson. No penalties yet in this game, Pert. Beyond 8 minutes played now. The kick by Hay goes down, taken by Bristow. Quickly off to Masson, who's going to bring it up and run into Hay with a charging run. Knocks him over in the process. Bristow quickly back up. Anderson absorbs it. Richards it is on this occasion to Windavai. Comes out towards halfway beyond. So now he's still going the big fella. Have a look at those legs move. Gathers good territory there. Across to Pierce, and Pierce runs into Luff. This is good meterage by Tumut here. The Blues making good ground in the best position they've been in all game so far. Fenn cut out pass to top and back in board to Bristow. Wonderful tackle there across by Lyons. Could have been a try-saving tackle. Toppin. Blues building something. Gets hit by Luff. A high ball underneath it. Coming out smart. Has he taken it? He hasn't. And Tumut come up with a play.
Knock on Gundagai. It's a great opportunity for Tumut. Their first set start deep inside Gundagai's territory. So it'll be good for them to attack Gundagai line. Got an interesting here, Murph. I'm trying to watch the Wagga kangaroo flags over there just to see where this wind's going. It looks like it's a heavy right to left wind from where we're watching. So it's important that Gundagai make the most of that in this first half as well.
So 6-0. The Tigers' way at the moment. But Tumut in a good position here. Only about 12 out from the try.
Down, didn't he?
He's a big
three or
man.
four in every time.
When he gets wrapped up, he gathers another 4 or 5 Pert. It's got to be invaluable, no doubt. Fenn sidestepping inside of Elphick and getting about 3 out from the line now. Again, Tumut cross and square this thing up. The fumbling ball, great. Hurried up defence by Gundagai, and they survive their first big test of the grand final.
They'll take plenty of confidence out of that, won't they, Murph? I think, Tumut in a dangerous position. Always tough, them balls right at the line. Someone in your face. But you'd expect that front row to take that, potentially a one-on-one, and maybe a try-scoring opportunity under the post there, gone begging.
Well, what a start. But both teams have had their moments. Both have been so clean with the football, which is just so different to... I mean, we spoke about how it could be fiery in the game and different... It looks like both teams have just come out and just said, let's play some footy early.
It's been really enjoyable. It's what you'd expect from the two top teams.
The Lions brought down a tackle here. Smart it might have been. Now, Gundagai. Get it out to the defensive 20. Laugh across to Teihalo, running into the shoulder there across there of the 12 in Sturt, Jacob Sturt. And there's a penalty going the way of Gundagai.
That's the first bit of ill discipline, I guess. 12 minutes into the game, but it could be crucial considering Gundagai are getting good field position here.
Well, they've absorbed Tumut in the last 5 minutes or so, and now they're going to get the football in a decent position. What can they provide? O'Hare across the field, and he's not able to gather much territory. In fact, the Tumut defence drive him back a little. Field slow to get to his feet. Laugh back across to Smart, and in turn to Teiholo, who they love getting the ball in this man's hands. Very creative.
Got nice footwork, doesn't he?
Hey. Back across to Smart, who looked out wide towards the winger there in Lions, but elected not to throw it. Lions from dummy half to Hay. Back in board across to Tout, who charges straight into Pearce and brought down within 30 here from the try line. Berkery. Pass comes back across out wide towards Gorman, still going, a little fumble there, and eventually taken away by Tuinda. Brilliant by the big fella, but maybe not. It's going to be another penalty to Gundagai.
Yeah, so Berkery went into the line there, so they've hit him late. So referee Muir said that he's hit him too late there, penalty Gundagai. Looked dangerous there, Gundagai.
They did, didn't they? They looked like they were shaping, almost like a set play, the way they came across with Berkery on that left-hand edge. Building towards the edge anyhow. Now, Dean Bristow is having a few words with referee Muir, but very seldom do you see the referee change his mind, and they're going to take the 2 points here, or at least attempt, and go to an 8-0 lead. I guess grand final, Pert, when the points are there to take, you take them.
Oh, definitely. And, I mean, even though Gundagai have had a little bit of an advantage early on in this game, but still, no doubt, they respect Tumut. They know it's going to be a close game. So like you say, when points are on offer, take them.
Well, it would be an 8-0 lead. Generally in their two early games this year, I think it was 3 tries each. The final, it was only a try each, so that is vital points. In the grand final, it's 8-0, Gundagai's way, and they won't be complaining about their start. What have you made of the opening 12 minutes or so, Pert?
That's been really enjoyable, hasn't it? I think everyone's spoken about they're the two best teams, two high-quality teams on paper, and that's the way the game's panned out. At the moment, slight advantage Gundagai, but 8 points. Tumut got plenty of quality in their side, so 8 points, still, 65 minutes to go. Plenty of time left to go in this game of footy.
Time in possession to settle them, perhaps. Gorman passes across to Field, who's already gained plenty of metres early on in this game, driven back a little bit by Bristow on that occasion. Luff to Berkery. He's charging up and met solidly on this occasion by Pearce, the Adam variety. Get to his feet. Such a wonderful leader, Berkery. Teiholo. Getting it out, 35 from his own line. Choosing to go left. Luff on this occasion to Hay. Wobbles it down to Bristow, who uses his feet to stop the McDonald's football. Regathers and then gets away from Hay. Gets around lines brilliantly. He's found a bit of open turf here, Bristow. Cleverly done. And for a fleeting moment there, had it not been for Hay's tackle, it could have been well downfield. Back in board across here. Charging around his Drabber. And he does well to spin off a couple. So good meterage gained here by Bristow and Drabber. And now the ball lost. And a penalty to the Blues, their first one of the game.
The compounding errors there, I reckon, Murph. I think as a Gundagai coach, should be happy with the kick early. We spoke about this win, but got to find ground. And instead of an early kick, Tumut bring the ball back. Burstow breaks a couple of tackles and then compound that error with a penalty. So Tumut right on the attack here.
So Tumut crossing back just over. Inboard. And now Anderson looking. A little pass. I'm not sure whether or not Ben expected it to actually come in his direction, or stirred, I should say, whether he expected it, but he trailed it rather safely in any case, and coming through Fenn on this occasion. He's 3 out from the line, so the Blues building here, trailing at the moment. Bristow and just dropped by Masters. Well, he spent it before he had it. You can see the eyes duck up towards the defence, and it's a costly mistake there, Pert.
Yeah, that's two opportunities in Gundagai's red zone there, and 2 early errors. So Tumut will be really disappointed that they're not building any pressure up that end of the field.
So, again, Gundagai survived. They lead 8-0 on the scoreboard, and we've played almost halfway through it. But just under 23 to play. So Gundagai to bring it out again. Ball security has been a real feature for mine by Gundagai. Perth, they've been able to complete their sets and get good field possession. Okay, Hollow. Back brought down. Now Laugh looking to Berkery. And Berkery offloading as well across to Lyons. Lyons looking for a bit of a run again. He's still going. Lyons already the try scorer in the game. Great run. Gathered about 20 in journey and brought down just shy of halfway, although they're driving him back now. So they've made a bit of amends for it, the Blues defence. But what an exciting run again by Matty Lyons. Berkery charging here to just shy of halfway. And now Tout goes up to halfway. Chance for a second phase here. Offload to Luff across to, well, just coming on Cullens. Back flick across to Lyons, who thought about using his brother on the outside and elected against it. And now Hay with a kick. Around the corner and eludes Bristow originally. So a nice kick in the end by Hay, and Bristow tackled on his own 10. Good tempo in this game. Masson, he's not going anywhere. Brought down as well. And now Tawindavai. Big Tawindavai charging again. This is the accustomed run we see of Aroa Tawindavai.
He's just taking all the tough carries at the moment. I love to see him out on an edge here, one-on-one with his centre. I'm glad I'm not out defending him when I say that.
On the side of him, and here he goes again. Have a look at him. Well, there you go. They've wrapped him up on this occasion, but valuable meterage. And now Anderson with a kick, sends it nice and long and deep and smart. No problems for the full-back. He takes it, and will bring it out to beyond his own 20, and wrapped up in a pretty solid tackle in the end. So by Masters, and another penalty here. This time it's going the way of Tumut.
That's a big call, you know, without the ball, and he's penalised going to go off the back chat. So they've obviously said something to the referee on the way through, but you know, grand final, that's a big call.
So it's a massive call given the position on the ground, and only as they go for a drink, only sitting about 25 out from their line. So a frantic start here to the Group 9 Rugby League Grand Final. It is 8-0. Lions setting everything alight early on in the game.
I guess, is that the change of luck? Tumut, they've had 2 opportunities in good ball, 2 early errors, but is that the change of luck they've needed? You know, a penalty without the footy. Now they're right on the front foot down in here attacking, but they need to build some pressure here. They need a better end of their set.
Well, I mean, halfway through the half third, and obviously you can't get a gauge on the game, but it's funny to say, it is huge the next try, because if they do get it Gundagai and go to a 2-try advantage, given the way these two sides have played, it's pretty hard to see a run. Like, both sides have struggled to get a real momentum run on against the other one, so it'd be a massive advantage, and maybe might force Tumut to maybe, you know, do stuff that they otherwise wouldn't. It'd be interesting how they react if Gundagai do get the next try in this game and go ahead. So vital chance here, in great position for Tumut. couldn't have asked. You'd have to be, when you're scripted as a coach and you come to the game and as a player, you just want to start well. You don't want to be out at half-time, do you? And Gundagai right now would be absolutely delighted with how they've played the opening 20.
I'd be really happy, mate, but like we've spoken, it's only an 8-point lead. So, to give away a penalty without the footy, massive error there. But that drinks break at the 20-minute mark come at a great time for Tumut. They said 2 errors in the good ball set, but their coach now gets to have a chat to them, gets to say what they want to do, what they want to get back to their game plan, and a big set for Tumut here.
No, Bristow back across to his teammate charging in here in Aragon, who was good a couple of weeks ago. Berkery brings him down. Bristow looks inside to Masters, gives to Pearce, back to Bristow inside the top and across to Bristow, out wide for Masson.
Tackle.
Build
Great
up,
tackle.
Brilliant. How is the tackle by Lyons? Excellent defence again by Gundagai. And they say defence wins matches, and the Tigers are showing it right now.
Oh, they did look dangerous there. You thought there was a half an opportunity there, but Lyons cut him down really quick. Great tackle. Put him out over the line. But again, Murph, we spoke about, and that's 3 from 3 now in that good ball. I'm sure they would have spoken about just getting to the end of this set, build some pressure, spend some time down this end of the field. But another early error, and that just releases that pressure valve off Gundagai just a little bit.
That's the most expansive the Blues have been so far in the game. A quarter of the way through the Group 9 Rugby League Grand Final thanks to 4X Gold. And bringing this out, O'Hare, laugh across to Elphick. And Elphick charging towards Anderson direction. Eventually to Indivine to lend support as well. And he's almost ripped that ball in the end, Anderson. Elphick. Now laugh to Teholo. Runs into Pearce.
Teholo will be breathing a sigh of relief after giving that penalty away, and now back with the footy.
Absolutely. Berkery, well, lucky he didn't pass it in the end, Luff, because it would have been forward from our vantage point here. Hay, and board across to Tout, who's looking to go for a bit of a run, running into Masters, and also alongside him for company Sturt as well. Giving a third man in Pearce into that tackle now. Luff across, and the high ball, the high kick coming via Gorman here. Camping under it and taking it brilliantly inside O'Hare. What a pass across to Barton, and Gundagai have pulled off the miracle try.
Wow, Murph. Geez, you wouldn't have thought from where he took that footy, what do you have, maybe 20 centimetres to work with on the sideline there. Great take by O'Hare. Then the offload. Great try, Gundagai.
There are moments of individual brilliance that can break grand finals open, and first of all, Matty Lyons, and now it's been backed up at the other end by, the other side by Dane O'Hare, who was just brilliant. How about the support run as well by Charlie Barton? He didn't give up on it. He knew exactly where to be, riding shotgun, and then incredible stuff.
Like you say, mate, in these big games, you want guys to come up with big plays, and at the moment, Gundagai, they're 2 strikes on each edge, come up with 2 massive plays for them.
When he takes possession of that ball, O'Hare, how far in from the sideline do you think
he didn't have much room to move, did he? And he had the presence of mind to know where he was, only take a couple of steps and get that ball back inside. Great play.
Well, we spoke about the next try being massive. Gundagai, given they took a penalty earlier on, this would be for a 14-0 lead, a couple of tries in the game, a couple of brilliant tries in the game. And the grand final is, well, it's gone awry. I was going to say well on the terms of Gundagai, and it still is. It's 12-0 at the moment.
Very kickable kick, that one. So it'd be interesting to see if it comes back to hurt Gundagai there. We still think it's going to be a close game. So it might come down to that goal kick there at the end.
Yeah, it's hard not to see him respond here, but it's been a great start by Gundagai. Tell you what, they look brilliant and clean.
It's been sharp. It's been good footy, hasn't it?
Certainly has. Tumut, it must be said, haven't done a lot wrong. Been a bit of brilliance by Gundagai that's opened up this lead. I mean, apart maybe from the penalty that gave Gundagai that other 2 points, the 2 tries have come through individual brilliance, really.
Definitely. They haven't defended too bad. Both sides have been really good. Like you say, just those two moments of individual brilliance which have opened up the game.
Berkery, on down here by Pearce. Luff across to Teholo, charging up and just shy of the 40. Luff to Berkery. Berkery across to Smart, who gathered the footy. Might have had a bow peep for a moment before running into Masters. Luff across to Tout. Tout wrapped up in a tackle, and able to do the strip on him. Gorman, a little dinky kick over the top. Bristow fumble. Well, it was always going to be an awkward ball at the pace he was going as well. And Gundagai in a really good position.
I really like that kick by Gorman there. It's into that little bit of no man's land in between the defensive line and the fullback. I know, great courage by Burstow. He took it head on, went straight to the footy, but it's hard not to see, 4 Gundagai defenders. You hear their feet on the ground. You're going to have a look at some point. Great play, Gundagai, and well on the attack again.
I was going to say that, Dan Bristow from down, he did attack it really hard, didn't he? He fought.
Yeah, look, he probably had 2 options. He could have just, maybe just dove on the ball, but, showed his courage and probably shows their mentality as a team. They're really confident and backed himself.
Now Luff across to Smart. Can this equate into more points in a good scoring position? 20 out from the line here, Gundagai to start their set. Looking inboard, Luff switching back to left and then right again and brought down. About 12 out from the line here for Gundagai. They lead 12-0. Smart in towards Berkery. He's happy to just take some ground here and edge him ever so closer to that try line. Under 15 to play in the opening half. Hollow bypassed out to Gorman, cut out pass to O'Hare. What can he create from here? O'Hare tries to go through a little gap, but unfortunately can't do so. Gundagai through Gorman, switches back to the left and absorbs a tackle of 4 Blues defenders close to the line on the 5th tackle.
A lot of space out right.
They go in that direction. It goes. The kick by Hay across to Lyons leaping. What a take by Masson. Brilliant. And he's off to the races inside. Pass and dropped.
Oh.
Dropped over there on the inside by Drabber. And almost for a moment there, I thought it was coast to coast for the Blues. And now Gundagai again in a scoring position. Teholo brought down. Luff. Inboard to Tout. And Tout gets within 10. He's about 8 out from the line now. Gundagai with back-to-back sets in effect. Luff across to Hay. Hay switches back inboard to Lyons. Out pass. What a pass, and more brilliance by the Tigers. Have crossed for a 3rd time in the half. Matt Lyons crosses to Jack Lyons for a try.
That man again, Lyons, just, gets that fend, gets himself a little bit of time, holds the ball in the right hand, tucks in the Tumut left winger there and puts his brother away in the corner.
Wow.
Geez, what just happened in that last minute there, Murph? I thought it was a great kick originally by Hay. He landed it right on the money, right on that try line. Lyons, unfortunately, needs to get a play on that ball. The great take by the Tumut winger. Almost took their opportunity the other way, and Gundagai back on attack.
What's that great movie, Any Given Sunday? Al Pacino.
Game of inches.
Game of inches. Yeah. It was a game of inches right there and then for Tumut to go almost the length of the field and get this game back on decent terms, I guess. But instead now they're looking at a 3-try deficit. Well, I must admit, Pert, it's neither side winning today would have surprised, but I guess an 18-0 scoreline to start in the opening half does surprise to a degree.
Yeah, definitely, with the way these games are played out, and we know how good defensively both sides are. But there's still a lot of footy left to play in this game. 52 minutes. Tumut, I think, need to just get back to completing sets. At the moment, it looks like they're just trying to go for that killer punch and get back into the game straight away. There's still 52 minutes to play. Gundagai will just say same again. They've been really good for this whole first 30 minutes. I think Luke Berkery's been great for them, leading from, by example, as the captain and in the front row there.
Remains 16-0. Off unable to convert it, but a couple of missed kicks. It could have been anything at the moment, but it could have been 20-0, I guess, not anything. But it's a handy lead, and we are just beyond 12 minutes out from the halftime whistle. So Gundagai again. The charge up the field once more. This is Tout bouncing off a couple, running off to Indivai.
Obviously, they've spoken about that Tumut before this game, and they're really attacking the footy, trying to get those one-on-one strips. So Gundagai have to be, mindful of their ball control.
They've done it a lot, haven't they, in this game? Almost every tackle, certainly in the defensive 20. Teholo comes out and gets it out towards his own 40. So, and also bringing down in the tackle there is Aragon. Now Berkery going on a bit of a charge, and Berkery still going, fending off a couple, getting down towards the halfway. In fact, beyond halfway. So great meters gained by Berkery on that occasion. Inside, across here to the run of Dunn. Dunn offloading. Great work across to Luff. The Tigers come again. And Luff wrapped up by Aragon, just shy of the 20 here. So about 22 out from the try line. Dunn across to Hay. Here's another kick to the edge. High O'Hare. What's he got on this occasion? Tuindavai gets up, drops it. And I reckon it'll be a Gundagai's ball once more. Tuindavai disappointed with himself, but he's a little bit unlucky.
Just more pressure for Tumut, man. I think, this is a massive step defensively for the Tumut Blues because, 16, you talk about sort of 3 tries, you go out to that 20, 22 points to nil. That's a big hill to climb, especially against a good defensive side like Gundagai.
That was scrum feed. What are we, 15 out from the line here, Pert. Great position. Luff to Hay, across to O'Hare, who's trying to pick a gap past Pearce, and he's having to piggyback on the back of him and charge towards the line. About 3 out. Trying to get up slowly. Looking to add more points. They lead by 16, the Tigers. Hay back in board to Berkery. Got around the tackler there across there in Bristow, but couldn't get past Aragon. Right on the 10. Luff in board to Hay, who's charging and runs into Dean Bristow. Luff going himself. I reckon he's across. He's dived out, and the Tigers have scored a fourth in the opening half. They're blowing this game open in the 2020 Grand Final.
Great footwork, James Luff. He showed one way, comes back, little left foot step, boom, over the line. We spoke about that pressure. Aside of Gundagai's quality, you can't keep turning the ball over in that defensive red zone for Tumut there. So, really important for Gundagai that they got points on the board there and made the most of that opportunity.
Wow, incredible stuff. And now it's very much getting to the stage where they're going to force Tumut to go the miracle plays, to get back in and not go as structured as they normally are. They're going to force the opposition. I guess what all coaches try to do, Pert, what you try to do is get the opposition to do what they don't want to do.
Well, all the talk, Murph, is I guess it just shows how good sport is. You have all these ideas of how games are going to play out, what's going to happen, this and that, and no one knows until that day. And, I don't think anyone in this ground would have thought Gundagai would have been up 20 points to nil after 30 minutes, but they deserve the lead. They've been the better side, and they've looked the most dangerous.
And it's converted on this occasion. So a 22-0 lead to Gundagai. And if you haven't followed the action throughout the course of this year, and you're wondering, are they favourites? Well, yes, they qualified first, but they had to overcome the undefeated Tumut to do so. Both these sides have met 3 times this year. A draw, 2 points to Tumut, 2 points to Gundagai. And then, amazingly, right now, it's 22-0 to the Tigers. And we are 8 minutes out from the halftime buzzer. And right now, Gundagai, if you asked them before the game, this could be the score at halftime. Not in their wildest dreams, I think they would have thought this. It's been a great start. Smart to bring it up. It's been not perfect footy. It's been littered with some absolute brilliance, but it's been really well structured. They haven't really given away much at all to Tumut like they did a couple of weeks ago. They've really asked questions of the Blues, and they've come up with the answers themselves when they've had to. Berkery. Wouldn't he be happy with how the side sits right now? Be a very good position. Teholo looks like he's got a spring in his step. He always looks like he's got a spring in his step, except for now maybe that's on him going backwards. Luff to Tout. He's going to run into
Great
Masters.
carry.
Luff kicking from dummy half on this occasion. Bristow or Masson? Take your pick. Masson's the one that's actually going to pick it up, and he's going to charge across. Done. Wonderful tackle done. Great chase and tackle, Pert.
Comes off the back. Great kick from Luff out of dummy half. Gundagai well and truly on top of you. Just see their energy, their body language. They're shooting up off the line. We're going to have to work hard here.
Just the little things they're doing correct, aren't they? Tuindavai charging through. Takes a couple with him as he does. And now Inboard, this is a chance for Top and a charge down the right edge, or rather I should say it's Richards. Richards looking to charge there with the ball. Wrapped up by Gorman. A couple in from the line. And he looks injured here as well.
Just Gundagai got him sweet in the back there. Unfortunate, but they're trying to push him over the line, but they got him sweet. They hurt them ones.
Very groggy. A while to get to his feet. Looks okay now, which is good to see. So, Matty Richards. Passing in ball to Anderson, and then back across to Masters, who takes a couple with him, driving sort of run. Maybe they need some individual brilliance right now, Tumut. What have they got? To Individe bypass across to Anderson. A high ball, nice and deep. Smart camped underneath it. We'll take it. And we'll run and absorb Fenn's tackle, and also Aragon driving him back as well. So right on 6 minutes remaining in the opening half of the Group 9 Grand Final for 2020. Jack Lyons, one of the try scorers, his brother Matt as well, who opened the scoring with brilliance. And O'Hare's pass led across the line. Charlie Barton a little bit earlier on as well in brilliant style. And then who could forget from dummy half, James Luff was absolutely magnificent with the last one. Now what's happened here? The Tigers appealing for a penalty. Nothing doing. So really, all 4 tries would be added to any highlights reel today, Adrian Purtell. There have been 4 brilliant tries, as good as you'll see in a grand final.
Yeah, it's been great to watch, and you know, we've spoken about it's a big game. You need those big plays. It's a really crucial 5 minutes here. You look at either side. If either side was to score here, you know, Gundagai are up massive lead, but Tumut just take a little bit of confidence going into the halftime break.
High kick by Gorman. How's the bounce? Elphick back across to O'Hare, taken to Individe. But Tumut will survive.
So penalty, Tumut, offside from the kick.
Just for a moment there, I thought it was going to be another one, Pert. I thought a bit of magic again was about to unfold.
A little bit of luck there. I guess the winger let the ball bounce, which, you know, in the backfield, you don't want to do that too often because you don't know where a footy's going to go to. But, you know, Tumut let off the hook there and in good, decent field position now. We spoke about how important it is them to try and get some points on the board leading into this halftime break to take some confidence in.
Absolutely. So Tumut trying to come up and bust through here towards 30 out from the line with 4.5 minutes just under to go. Bristow, nice run to Individe, charges up towards the 20 and brought down. Now, Lockie Bristow from halfway, the 20 line across inboard to Fenn, fed to Toppin and Masters, and they close to about 12 out from their line, so a chance or Pearson is picking himself up. Now Toppin back in board across to Anderson, a little grubber kick, come off a Gundagai defender, maybe a little bobble under that, and it was Pert.
Great option there, really building some pressure here towards the back end of this game. Just stay at this end of the field, try and put some points on the board.
Barden on that occasion, Charlie Barden, and it allows Tumut they've had a couple of good opportunities, but this is definitely their best opportunity so far at the half. Very late, but like you said, it can change. Momentum's huge in sport, and this could be just it for them.
I think Gundagai have been really good at getting their strike plays the ball, smart. We spoke about Lyons and O'Hare. I think, you know, Tumut, we've seen Tunavai, that he's taken all these tough carries. Now's the time in this red zone. Get him one-on-one with his centre and see what he can do.
For the Blues are switching it wide. Masson's going towards the edge. He looks like a cross. A wonderful try to Tumut late. Masson dives into the left-hand corner. And they get the one they needed to respond with. They go to 22-4, 18 down Tumut. A much-needed one on the death of halftime.
Here I was talking about the right centre. It was actually the left centre in Draper. Great play. Gets on the outside. Gets the offload to his winger. And big. But, you know, for all the I guess, the way Gundagai have been on top through that whole first half of footy, now you've got Tumut coming and going, right, boys, we're back in this, let's go.
Well, great stuff. It was the great build-up, in fact, by, like you said, Draper over there to get the ball into the possession across there of Connor Masson. And can that change something? Can something catch fire in the Blues outfit? Can they maybe add another one in the last 2.5 minutes of the half and really go in? All of a sudden, that scoreboard starts to tighten up.
Funny what points do to body language and confidence, doesn't it, Murph? You looked at the Tumut side who come off the back of them four tries, and their body language a little bit sluggish walking out to the kickoffs. Points, they're the ones charging off to their bench. Their chest up. Massive points in the context of this game.
So Tumut to add the extras here. Bring the margin back to 16. They needed some points. They needed something to get out of the half with. They've been able to provide it. Spectacular try as well. Might just be what they need to get going in this half, perhaps. And the extras won't be added, so it'll be 22-4. We have just over a minute to go, so pending nothing outrageous, it'll probably end that way with an 18-point deficit for Tumut. But
now that kick held up in the wind there a bit, Murph, so it's still important to note that Tumut, they'll get that wind in the second half. So when they get their second win, they're running with the wind. It could be big second half up in store for Tumut.
And the guy won't be in any hurry here at all. They'll be looking towards that halftime buzzer and would be very, very content with their work. Smart's kick off nice and deep. Tumut with 38 seconds on the clock. The last opportunity of the half. Fenn charges out towards his own 20. Last rights of this half. Bristow inboard across. Looking for Masters, who gets out to the 30. So a couple of good runs by the Blues. Bristow inboard back across to Fenn. And he's charging again, driven back, but a nice offload. Aragon, he's got a bit of turn of speed, this lad. Gets up to halfway. And with 10 seconds on the clock, this will be the last play of the half we fancy just about. Charging up Masters into a couple. Brought down, so he'll get up now. It'll be the last play. What have the Blues got? A bit of razzle-dazzle perhaps. Bristow, pass across to Pearce. Bounces off one. Still going Pearce. Barses tries a Hail Mary turnover by Elphick. He's happy to go to ground, and that'll be half-time. Adrian Purtell, a thoroughly entertaining opening half at Group 9 Rugby League.
It was good. I enjoyed that footy, mate. I think we spoke about Gundagai well and truly on top, but that last 5 minutes from Tumut, well and truly back into the game. They're going in the sheds full of confidence now. 3 tries for a team with their quality. They'll be full of confidence and think that they can still get this game. Gundagai, they should be well and truly confident after what they've just produced in that first 40. And so, we just do that again in this second 40 and the game's ours. All
right, we'll take a break on All In Sports. It is halftime. Group 9 Rugby League Grand Final 2020. 4 tries to the Gundagai Tigers sees them lead 22. The Tumut Blues 4.
Just like to acknowledge our Group 1 sponsors for 2020. A major sponsor for our 2020 season is Forex Coles for Nathan. Our Mr. Shield sponsor is the Thomas Blamey Tavern. Was a cup sponsored by River and Fresh Milk. And our league tag competition is sponsored by Tumut Homes. We also acknowledge the sponsorship of McDonalds as our Grand Day match ball sponsor, Wagga RSL Club, Canberra Raiders, and New South Wales Rugby League. Just a reminder, spectators, if you're not making use of the facilities or attending a canteen, then you do need to remain seated at your chairs.
So welcome back. Almost set to get underway in the second half here from McDonald's Park. If you've just joined us, it was a blistering opening half by Gundagai. They got out to 22-0 before it was peaked back with a late try to Connor Masson, Tumut in the number 2 to get across in the left-hand corner. Give the Blues something to go into half-time. They trail by 18 as we get underway in the final half of season 2020. It's a short kick-off by Gundagai, a little funnel by Drabber, and Gundagai come up with it. So at the moment, everything going the way of the Tigers in this game. Tout passes in to Te Holo, who absorbs the tackle, 15 out from the line. And now, charging here, Luff towards the line. Can't quite get across. And now Berkery passing across in board to Gorman. And now Smart gave to O'Hare, fending off a couple. O'Hare around Masters in the Bristow. And he's about 12 out, so trying to create something. Always looking dangerous, O'Hare across there. And now the Tigers through Elphick. He's just running straight up at Aragon and also taken down in the tackle by Sturt. Love switching direction. Gorman, a little grubber kick. Well played at that, I reckon, Fenn. Not too sure. We'll keep an eye on it. Fenn's come up with it, and that's allowed to go through. So, well done for Fenn. It could be a big moment. This is Chewindavai charging up and taking a couple as he always does. I'll tell you what, he'd be dangerous if he could get an offload, Pert. Takes 4 with him each time.
Mate, I reckon full credit to Tumut there. They wouldn't have been expecting that kick at the first part of the game, and they defended their line there, and they're in decent field position. So it's really important they get to a kick here. That would have been the worst possible start if they had leaked in points there.
Okay, so they've taken it out to about halfway here. Aragon into Berkery. Now Bristow. Passing in board to Masters. And now the kick by Anderson, nice and high, camping underneath it and taking it safely in the end down there underneath it. So it could have been Barton. Took it nicely for Gundagai. So the Tigers bring it out through, charging underneath this O'Hare. Taken down just shy of his own 30. And now Hay, pass, across to Te Holo. Gets it shy of halfway. And now a charge here. Berkery passing ball across to Matt Lyons, who'll see open territory. They won't cash him. And he goes underneath the post and scores again for Gundagai first in the second half.
Luke Berkery take a bow, Murph. I think I spoke about him in the first half. I thought he's been massive. He's the skipper. He's leading from the front in the front row there. He's been a massive load of work there in the middle part of the field, but that was beautiful. Just had the ball in 2 hands, throws it to the outside. The defender slid off, breaks through the gap, and great support play by Line up the inside. Great start by Gundagai.
So it goes across, a dream start, 2 to Lions, and he's putting his name up in lights for best on ground today. Life with a conversion to come, which you'd have to say should be elementary, and we should be looking at a 24-point deficit here. 4 converted tries.
Massive play by the skipper there. You think, going into the halftime there, Tumut, plenty of confidence off the back of those points, and looks like he's taken it upon himself to say, no, boys, we'll do it this way. So great play there by the skipper.
Love to convert it. And Tumut, a disastrous start after scoring last in that opening half. Not only the try, but to get a try against them so early would suck a fair bit of life out of them. Certainly not according to plan. I imagine in the sheds at halftime there would have been a lot of talk about if we can just score first, get that momentum, put pressure on them, they start to doubt themselves, and it's gone pear-shaped in the first opening 5.
You've got to be positive though, Murph. I think, there's still 35 minutes to go in this game. Gundagai really good defensively, of course, but you're still in a game of footy. 35 minutes, a lot can happen in that time, and They just got to get back into the game, get back into that arm wrestle, and no doubt they've got to score points soon though.
For the kickoff, Tumut. Down taken Gorman. They bring it out through Tout. At 15 from his own line, Elphick charging into a couple. One of those, Jeffrey. So good a couple of weeks ago. Love calling him. Now Elphick to his feet. Luff to Berkery. And Berkery charging and brought down by Masters. Right on the 20. One-handed pick up by Luff. Hollow brought down by his opposite number in Fenn. And now from dummy half, charging sort of run here by Luff. Gets good meterage too, gains about 7 or 8 metres. Tigers looking to put the defence under pressure again as Hay tumbles one down. A little awkward sort of ball again for Anderson to run onto, gathers it. Anderson to bring it out, wrapped up by Tout, but good run, good charging run there. Bristow inboard to Aragon, and he's lifted a little bit. Brought down by Gorman. Also Luff, this is to Windavai. Going to require maybe a bit of magic from this man in the second half. He's still going. Have a look at the strength. He's still going. He's lost his dacks, but he's got through them. He passes inside the 20. 18 out from the line for Tumut. Bristow inboard across to Jeffrey, charging in a Berkery. In fact, it's
Good
done.
shot.
Done with a great tackle. Bristow across to Masters now. Anderson inboard to Bristow. He's charging back to the left. O'Hare has him. 10 out from the line, just over it. Anderson, a little grubber kick in, but safely taken in goal down there. Underneath that pack was smart. Brilliant done. And Gundagai survive for the moment, but nice build-up set there by Tumut.
Definitely, Murph. I think, obviously they need to score points, but, the next best thing is just build pressure. Take as much energy out of this Gundagai team as possible and play the footy up this end of the field.
But the line drop out. Now underneath this, Anderson allows it to go over the top. Taken by the charging here in Sturt. Brought down. 30 out from his own line. They need to score, no question. They need to get points on the board in a hurry. Masters, 20 out from the line. And now Jeffrey, inboard, across the top and back to Pearce. Pearce switching back on the right. Gee, lifted up there dangerously by Laugh over the top. And now Bristow back to Jeffrey. Jeffrey charging straight towards Berkery. And they're 5 out from the line now, Tumut. Bristow need to be clean with everything. Pass wide to Windavai. Gives to Bristow in the corner. They have scored. There's the response from the Blues. We knew it was coming, and it's come immediately inside the opening 10 minutes of the second half. And it's 28-8.
Comes off the back of building pressure there. Happy to get the ball in goal and just get a repeat set. Great hands on the edge there. Bristow over in the corner. Important that they scored points. And now you look at the scoreboard again. It's, within that, sort of first 10 minutes of the half. So you still got a good 30 minutes to play here. So Tumut again. Take a bit of confidence out of that. Big kick here, though. That, get it back to 18 points instead of 20. Now you look at that. He kicks this. It goes to 28-10, and it's only 3 converted tries. Misses it. Still got to score that 4 tries, which might be a big mental barrier, going into the last 30 minutes.
So we thought it might have kick-started them, or it might have been a momentum killer, Pert, with the half-time whistle, given that they scored late.
Really good response. I think it just shows their maturity as a footy team, just sort of happy to build pressure and be patient, and points came off the back of that.
Jacob Toppin to add the extras, couldn't do it on the death of half-time. If he can do it now, bring it back to 3 converted tries. A tough chance. Too tough of a chance. It remains 28-8, but they're in the ball game with half an hour to play.
Something going on over there, Murph. It looks like
Another kick.
Not too sure. I haven't seen this happen too often, so I'm not too sure what the case is here.
Now, Gundagai understandably aren't real happy. I think Burkery's going across for an explanation, maybe. And it is. It's going to be another kick.
Wow. Not sure what could have happened there, mate.
A bit bizarre,
unless
isn't it?
there was, something from the crowd thrown, or he's pointing to the crowd at the moment. But unless it was something thrown, verbal abuse, so that's sort of part and parcel of taking a goal kick from the sideline.
Yeah, surely not.
Should be on your boot.
Yeah. Well, could this be a moment in the game? Right now, we're looking at something to get Tumut back in the contest, and this could be that moment, Pert. Another chance, another kick. Does this go down in folklore of changing a grand final? Stop it. What can he do? Under half an hour to play. And it is just shy again to the near side. So no third kick. He misses. A bit of an anticlimax in the end. It remains a 20-point margin to the Tigers. Well in control of the Group 9 Grand Final under half an hour to play. Try to do some investigating after the game with that, Pert. Exactly what happened, but certainly say it must have been something from the crowd, you would assume. Graber passes it inboard across, and this is Ben being brought down in a tackle by Luffen's out. Bristow pass across to Pearce, charging through and lifted up and dumped in the tackle by Lyons. Adam Pearce. Good as Matt Lyons been to exhilarating tries today. Jeffrey gets out to his own 40. The Blues build. A bit of pressure, a bit of possession football. Bristow kicks. Now Smart will get an accustomed bounce here. Favours him. Bounce of the proverbial ball seems to be going the Gundagai Tigers' way, and they get it out. Smart gets it out cleverly. Out to his own 40. 30, should say. And this is O'Hare. Provided one of the real magic moments in the opening half from just centimetres inside the touchline to find his teammate on the inside in Charlie Barton across and really open things up in this game. Now, they hollow, or in fact it's Lyons, a bit of high contact there. Nothing doing, charging through Tout. He gathered plenty of metres today. Right throughout the home and away in final series. Burkery inside to Elphick, passing back to Burkery. And a nice tackle by Aragon to bring him down. So they move within their 30, and now a penalty.
No, I think error.
Lost
Murph,
it,
so
okay.
yeah.
So a let off for Tumut.
Shame, great lead-up play. Burkery looks so good with the ball in his hands. Out in front, nice passing game, good offload. Very dangerous, but just release the pressure valve there for Tumut. So see what they can do, bring it out of their own end.
So to Windavai, charging up the middle. You spoke about him maybe being on an edge earlier in the game. Maybe it's time as this game goes on, Pert.
Well, I just think he's just so dangerous in terms. He takes 2 or 3 to get down every time up the middle of the field. So getting one-on-one with his centre, he's got to be dangerous inside that strike red zone.
Jeffrey offloading. Bristow waits for it to bounce. Passes back across to Pearce. Pearce looking inside of him. Pearce going himself offload to Draber. Inside is Mass, and Draber goes himself. Wonderful tackle by Smart. And great defence by the Tigers, and the Blues just for a moment looked like they were back in the game.
Great lead up by Pearce. Showed the ball goes through. Great offload. Just James Smart, experienced fullback, quality player. Just positioned the centre there for the Tumut side. Took him into touch. I guess Tumut, they had to make the most of that opportunity. Get his support player in a bit of space where he could have put him away.
So the Blues, it was a promising build-up. Great run by Pearce to open things up there. Maybe the Tigers getting a little bit more tired. This is Dunn running into Sturt. Brought down also by Jeffrey. Luff. Pass out to O'Hare. A little skip, a little goose step. Still going. Brought down eventually Masters. Out towards his own 30. Gundagai with the ball. Gorman and Elphick charging up, running into Jeffrey and driven back as well. Down the ground. And now, this is the run of Tout. Driven back by a couple of Blues. So, a bit of energy about the defence of the Blues now. They sense it's the time to go. 25 left in the game. I think they realise that it's now or never. They trail by 20 on the scoreline. Gundagai with a grand final on their boot at the moment. And kicking it on his boot is Gorman. Nice and high to Windavai. Takes it comfortably, the big fella, and he charges out. Who's the unlucky man in his way? He charges towards Hay and Berkery to lend support to bring him down as well. Bristow inside across to Aragon. And lifted up there and just dumped down in the tackle by Elphick underneath that. And now Tumut out to halfway. Lifted up here is underneath that, McGrath. And now Bristow. And Dax still, McGrath's lost it. And it's a crucial mistake there by Tumut. But again, they do look just better in this half. They seem to be moving the ball and gaining metres a lot more efficiently, a lot more easily than the opening half, Pert.
Yeah, definitely. I think that defensively, you just saw, like you mentioned, they upped the ante. Their line speed was probably their best defensive set for the whole game, but there's probably a sense of that, right, we've got 25 minutes in the grand final here. It's go time now, boys. It's now or never. Interesting to note there, Murph. McGrath's actually getting checked out by their physio. Heavy contact on the ground. And then he went on to knock that ball on a couple of plays later, so I still don't think he's right.
We're really getting to that time, aren't we? Where time is going to become a real factor. We're just over 24 minutes left in the half. They're down by more than 3 converted tries, Tumut. I think another 10 minutes here, they can hold on Gundagai. They'll have the grand final just about. And sort of ugly scrum feed there.
Don't see that too often, mate. The opposition team raking in the scrum there, and they almost got it back. Be a big play for Tumut.
Just wonder whether some of the mindset of Gundagai might switch here defensively, Pert, which could be a very dangerous thing. Rather than on the attack. Although, as I say that, O'Hare making a liar of me. He is charging up and running into the tackle here of Aragon to Windavai to lend support as well. Along that left edge. They build and bustling through here. Gorman, brilliant run. Gorman still going. Crosses inside the 20. Great individual display by Gorman. And now Gundagai. Hay goes across to Tout. And now Dunn. Dunn looking to offload. He goes himself. Still the big fella. Flick back. Lyons has a hat trick. Matty Lyons with a hat trick. And Gundagai have one hand on the trophy.
What a try, Murph. Another high-quality try by the Gundagai Tigers. Great lead up by Gorman on the left-hand side. And, you know, Matt Lyon, he's been on fire today. So their first thought, quick play of the ball. Let's get the ball out that way. Blake Dunn, great work. Holds off his defender and good offload for Matt Lyon to finish there.
I think we've got a player of the day.
Oh, mate, he's got to be up there. I like Luke Berkery's performance as a middle unit and a skipper. I thought he's really led the way, but you need those quality guys to make the most of the opportunities, those big guys do in the middle. So it's been a great performance by a number of players in this Gundagai team today. You look at that 32-8, Murph. I think that mount now is a little bit too high to climb for the Tumut Blues.
Well, it's going to take one of the greatest grand final performances ever, won't it? From here. Would be
I mean, at this stage, it's 24 points with a kick to come, 4 converted tries. 22 minutes. It's doable, but in the grand final against a side like Gundagai, I'd say it's pretty improbable.
So, and he's missed a couple of kicks too. Let's bear that in mind. James Luff's missed a couple. So
yeah, there's been no doubt. Gundagai have been well and truly in control and been the better side as well. But, they've just hung around just enough, Tumut, to think they were in the match. But whenever it's got that little bit closer, Gundagai have just kicked away.
Luff to add the extras. And it won't be any good. I don't think it is. Coming back it is!
Wow.
It came back a mile. Shane Warne be pleased with that one, Pert.
That's a massive kick. If whoever was in doubt, like we said, that massive deficit anyway for Tumut to get back, but that just takes it above 4 converted tries, and you'd think that's game over now. Gundagai Tigers and pretty much 2020 premiership is theirs.
Yeah, body language, you spoke about it earlier on, and you can see the Tumut players, I think they drop a little bit. Because before that, the 10 minutes in the lead up before it honestly looked like Tumut were going to score again.
They had a big opportunity on the left-hand side of the field here. They couldn't position their winger to put him away, and that turned to be a turning point in the game.
Oh, Teholo taken high in the tackle.
Looked nasty.
And
it's been a high-quality game of footy as well. You don't want it to get scrappy and dirty in this last 20 minutes. It's been played in the right way, and I'm sure both teams will continue to do so.
Teholo come out with some speed and was caught high.
Doesn't look in a good way, though, over there.
You want to end any game, let alone a grand final. Victory will soften the blow, no doubt.
I guess what does the referee do here? Does he send him to the bin?
Well, we're about to find out, Pert, exactly what he will do. Muir is going to do exactly that.
Oh, yeah, it's not 10 in the bin. He sent him. So he's gone for the game.
So Jordan Anderson gone, and the day of Tumut goes from bad to worse. "22 minutes to go. 34-8 Gundagai's way, and they're down a man, Tumut.
Not often you see a send-off, but I guess it's in a position of the game. Gundagai are well and truly in control. It's not going to play too big a bearing on this game. It just, from Tumut's point of view, you'd hope they don't leak a heap more points now, down to 12 men.
So, from what we can see, Teholo looks like
going to walk off the field, which is positive. He just looks a bit groggy, which solid whack to the head.
Well, right now, given the game, there's no
need to play. I'm sure he wants to. It's probably the conversation, and that's probably why it took him so long to get off the field. No doubt, he wants to stay out there. Rugby league players, tough. But everyone's saying, mate, we've got this game. Just go back and rest up, and if it's not too bad, heck not, maybe have a beer.
Oh, you did mention Berkery before. He is down in front of us here, Luke Berkery, and he will be very, very satisfied man right now with the work that he has put in throughout the opening 60 minutes of the game.
I think, as a skipper and a front rower, you're just going to be saying, look, I want to get my team the best opportunity to get on the front foot. And he's done that. He's led by example from word go, and been a massive performance today.
So back upfield they go again, Gundagai. We have 22 minutes to go in the season. As the lights come on at McDonalds Park. Late start to this one, past 4 o'clock. Elphick brought down a tackle here by Jeffrey. So Elphick driven back here. Blues. Well, fielded is, in fact, underneath that. And going to be another whistle. And tensions is starting to get a little bit between the two sides, between the two. The two number 8s there, Masters and Field, coming together. Tension's just simmering a little bit here, Pert. We expected this probably early on in the game, not where the game is right now, as Dunn charges on a run. How good was he before?
Yeah, outstanding. I think you spoke about the tensions. You would have wanted to see it in the first 10, 15 minutes. It's sort of at a point now where the game's won. So neither side need to do anything stupid in this situation.
Definitely not. Both Lions fellas have been outstanding today. Matty Lyons got things going with...
Good combination, isn't it? We spoke about it, like the amount of backyard footy they probably would have played as kids, you know, just getting that intuition with each other, knowing where each other is. They would have dreamt about playing alongside each other and scoring tries in grand finals. They've both been really good today.
Well, Matty's got a hat trick, 3 brilliant tries, particularly his first, but then also, if you add on top of that, he's got the assist across to get his brother out wide across as well.
His brother owes him a beer, doesn't he?
Without a doubt. Sebastian Cottam is on now for Gundagai. He'll enjoy these grand final last quarter of the match. Will the Blues be able to pile on some more points here and bring that scoreboard back? What's been a surprise scoreline compared to the previous 3 games this year to Windavai. This is out now to Masters, back into top and out wide for Draver. And he is wrapped up very quickly by the Lions.
Again, good shape by Tumut. They created the extra number, but that last pass was just put behind him. So it just stopped all momentum and got to start again.
Jeffrey offload, brilliant to Bristow. Bristow trying to be creative. Will knocked out of his hands there by Gorman, surely. And it'll be Tumut's ball. Gorman throwing his hands open and pleading, I don't know what you're meaning, referee. It's almost like a stalemate. The last 3 or 4 minutes, Pert, have been very stop-start sort of football, some tension simmering, but nothing out of line.
Yeah, no, look, they're going for the drink break now, which they spoke about every 20 minutes. But like you say, they've had that injury concern with the head knock, and the game's really slowed down a little bit here. So I'm sure they could have just played on and get into this last 90 minutes of the game. It's sort of, both teams probably sense it out there that the game's done, and you know, Jimmy want to get on the road out of here as quickly as possible, and Gundagai want to get them 4X on ice.
Without doubt, 4X Gold first grade Group 9 Rugby League Grand Final looks like headed its way of the Tigers. Of course, there's still 19 minutes and change to play, but in that time, it would have to be, in effect, 5 tries scored by Tumut to win the game. Guys setting it up in the opening half, bursting out to 22-0. Late try to Masson, got it back to 22-4 at the half, but an early try in the second half to Matt Lyons, really, the 5 or 6 minutes in, really dented, put a big dent. The Blues, they did respond straight after that, Dean Bristow, but really, it's been the Gundagai's game. They've been the better team, there's no doubt about that. They've used the ball well, they've completed their sets, Pert, and like, really, honestly, they probably couldn't have played much better.
Yeah, look, I think Tumut had some opportunities early on in that first half, and a couple of early errors in the good ball zone, and didn't capitalise or build any pressure, and they never really got a sniff after that. Everyone spoke before the game how close the game was going to be, and I was no different. I thought it was going to be a really tight game, and as a neutral, you probably want that on grand final day, but you know, the script for Gundagai couldn't have gone any better. Everything's sort of gone their way, even the 50-50 bounces, but they've earned that. They've played really well, and rightfully so will be the premiers this year.
As they pack for the scrum, 20 out from the try line of Tumut. What have they got in the latter stages of the game? It's going to go through Bristow, out to Draver, who is tackled just shy of the 20. Bristow back in board, across to Pearce, who's running straight up the line, straight to the man that's come on the ground, and Cottam, who come on for the injured player, I believe, before in Tay Hollow. Now Bristow back in board. Masters, little slick pass inside. And they're about 5 out from the line now. Sturt puts it back down on the ground. Masters flick out to Jeffrey. And Jeffrey lifted up and dumped down here by Luff. So the Blues pressing again. Bristow looking inboard for Masters. Out wide for Toppin. Tried the pass straight in the line. Spilt free across to his brother. And Jake Lyons is off. He's kicking as well. Matty Lyons chasing. It'll come back. It'll come back. It won't matter what happens upfield. Both Aragon and Lyons unaware of what's happening, but it'll come all the way back.
How good is that though, Murph? You know, your team's up 26 points and you're still chasing down kicks like that. Just shows how much it means to this Gunner guy side.
For a second there, I thought it was going to be 4. I thought Matty was going to...
The way the day's gone, you wouldn't be surprised.
But when Jack kicked the ball, I think as soon as he kicked it, I thought Matty thought, I'm in here. Yeah. I'm in. I'm going to back my speed. Aragon not slow either, but he's got a good turn of speed. So been really, really stop-start in its last few minutes of the game.
It just sort of lost all momentum, hasn't it? I think it sort of got out to that point where both teams know the result and just looking towards that final hooter now.
Now Toppin across inboard to Sturt. He's brought down by a tackle by Gorman and Luff. Bristow, still a bit of energy about the Blues. Good to see Jeffrey run the decoy runner. Goes back through Masters from Pearce, and he's a couple out from the line. Good to see the Blues still building here. Bristow back inboard to Pearce, who's charging up towards his direct opposition there in Sebastian Cottam. And now the Blues pretty much on top of the try line here. Bristow goes out to Toppin. Gonna pass wide towards Tawindavai. Don't argue. The big fella's going here, getting towards the line. Climbing. He's got 6 hanging off him. And Tawindavai just shy of the line.
I think that's the first time today, Murph, that he's actually got the ball sort of in his actual position out on that right edge.
Toppin, sort of a wild pass. Not sure exactly who it was intended for. It ends up with Pearce, who switches back laterally across, trying to be creative. Tawindavai again, out wide with a pass. Brilliant sort of stuff. Aragon could have been out there, brought down. And now the Blues a couple of metres out. Oh, Bristow, how about that for a pass to Tawindavai? As spectacular as we've seen today. And the Blues come up with an incredible try in the game.
Well, if anyone deserves a try, Murph, it's definitely Tawindavai over on that right edge. He's been enormous for those guys. He's been playing like a middle unit front rower. The amount of carries he's taken and the amount of effort Gunner guys had to go through to get him down. So I think it's a well-deserved try, and it's possibly a little bit disappointing we haven't seen him more with one-on-one situations on that right edge.
I'll tell you what, Matt Lyons, consider yourself stiff because the try of the day has been stolen by Roa Tawindavai.
Yeah, great pass by Burstow there at a dummy half. The old no-look, go through the legs, I don't know. But, yeah, quality finish.
Bit of razzle-dazzle late. They were probably thinking to themselves, where was that in the last half or the start of this one? Pretty late. And you can even see by the Blues boys, like they celebrated, but they're very dejected at the moment with 15 to play.
Got to hurt, you know, all the effort you put into, I guess even in this season even more so. You didn't know that if the season was going to get underway, so you put in all this extra effort to get it underway and get in this position to compete in a grand final, and you come away with a loss. You'll be proud to get to this point because you put in all that work, but, I mean, all these boys ultra competitive and be really disappointed they didn't come away with the win today.
Well, a loss is a loss, obviously, in any game, particularly a grand final. But for given the season these two sides have had, it's certainly not a real reflective gap between the two of them. Like I said, you wouldn't have been surprised whichever one did win this afternoon, but certainly margin-wise, I think Ned Barm and yourself, Pert, both picked 2-point margins, so I think where everyone sort of thought. But it's not to be. And 22-point margin now. The kick was unsuccessful.
I think it'd be interesting, I guess, Murph. You look at Gunner Guy, they had the week off. You know, Tumut played last week in a shortened season where perhaps the pre-season wasn't
you think a big factor?
Oh, look, I guess it could have played its part. It's hard to tell. We haven't had a season like this before. But it would have been a condensed pre-season, bit underdone. They've only played the 9 or 10 games, so to get that extra rest, and get their bodies right. Look, it could have played a factor. And the way it's played out today, they're looking like a fresher side.
Well, Matty Bite there, just a little fumble as he come out, managed to hold on to the ball. This is Jeffrey charging with the ball. Good meterage too by Jeffrey. Takes a couple with him, gathers another 5 in journey. 35 out from his own line. Bristow goes inboard across to Pearce, looking for support. Pearce eventually taken down the Jared variety. Gets out and now knocked away. And a penalty going the way of Tumut. Penalty against Sebastian Cottam there. Good to see involved in the game. Tumut getting some good quality ball late in the game. Bristow to Pearce. Charges in the Dunn. Bristow, Pearce. And gets out. 20 out from the line now for the Blues. Bristow inboard to Jeffrey. Looking to be creative. Passes to Bite. It was a lovely pass. The big fella just couldn't get enough speed to get through that gap. And now Jeffrey. Back across to Bristow. Sidestepping back to the right. Ran into his own teammate in Pearce. Stopped momentum. And now 5 out from the line, the Blues. Bristow. Little pass inside it to Winderby. I reckon he was tackled before he even took possession.
Referee agrees with you, Murph.
The big fella, that's one way to stop him. Tackle him
before he gets the ball.
Oh, and here he goes. He goes through and passing across to Sturt. Victor Winderby. We love him. Can he get a double maybe? Pass out wide. Another brilliant pass by the Blues. Are they across again? I'm not sure. It doesn't look. Right. It is. Wow. 2 brilliant tries by Tumut.
Mate, there's 11 minutes, 30 seconds to go. They couldn't, could they?
No. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell one man that thinks they might is Luke Berkery, because he's actually about to come back on the ground.
Yeah, he looks filthy, doesn't he? That I've had enough of this.
And incredible stuff. I think almost like Gundagai have already had the win in their head.
Yeah, definitely. And it gets to that point, you're sort of looking towards that final siren. And I guess one thing they've forced Tumut to do is score right out wide. So all goal kicks have been right from the sideline. And he hasn't been able to hit any. And that would have played a big factor in bringing it under 3 converted tries. But look, Gundagai's still well and truly in control. But Tumut have looked well when Anderson, the halfback, he got sent. They've looked a lot more dangerous. They've started to chance their hand a little bit, which I guess they'll probably feel a little bit disappointed with. On a day like today, you go home and the best footy's been in this last sort of 10 minutes.
So 34-16 to make it 34-18. And they would need 3 tries in 10.5 minutes per. Surely not, but who knows? Who knows? Well, it's 3 converted tries now regardless, actually, to be honest. So that'll tie the game at the worst case scenario. Toppin to bring it back to 16. And it's coming back. It's very tight. It's good. The conversion's there. And Tumut Blues have a heartbeat.
Look, it's not impossible. 3 tries in 10 minutes. It's happened at the highest level. So Gundagai just need a big defensive set here. Get back in the game. They're still definitely in the driver's seat. But, Tumut full of confidence. Grand final. Win behind their back.
Well, you reckon Luke Berkery's just saying to the guys, just simple now, just complete your sets. We take off as much time as we can off the clock. We play territory. We make it as hard as possible. I'll tell you what, another try in another couple of minutes to the Blues, and we will have a finish on our hands. What can the Blues provide? Here comes Matty Bite charging up, getting out to the 20. What can he drive? He's still going. A great run by Matty Bite. Bristow in across to Sturt. Sturt electing to go himself straight up the middle. What the amount of tackles today by Luke Berkery, one of the real contenders alongside Matt Lyons for Player of the Day. Or is there a shining night for Tumut? This is Jeffrey, just shy of halfway. The Blues building something here. Pearce, no, it was very close to forward. Bristow held it a long time. And now held is Pearce by 3, done trying to pick him up. And now Bristow passing inboard, back across to Jeffrey. A little bit of a goose step. He closes within the 40. 35 out to go. Pearce back. The kick nice and high by top, and underneath this needs to be clean and take it, and that's exactly what Smart's able to do. And brings it straight up the middle as well, and still going. Smart, a great run out to the 30.
Disappointing to that end set for Tumut. Sort of all over the shop. The kicker kicked the ball. No one was onside anyway, and great return by Smart. And if there ever was a sniff, Gundagai have just completely taken that away from Tumut.
I have now as well with a penalty, a swinging arm, and on Gorman. Gundagai march right on halfway. They'll have possession of the football to start their set.
I think for us, Murph, sitting here as neutrals, we wanted that fairy tale finish, 3 tries in the last 10 minutes, but just the way the game's played out, I think Gundagai were never in doubt. And now with, good field position, they should just, start this end of the field, hold on the footy, maybe get a repeat set and just play this game out.
Certainly plenty of courage shown by Tumut in the latter stages of this game, but Gundagai's lead too big, and Field just stands up solid on Bristow's hit there. Lockie Bristow coming off.
I think he's hurt himself off that, mate.
Yeah, the worst for wear.
Yeah.
The 7 are playing the grand final. Hay to Dunn. Passing to Matty Lyons, who already has a hat-trick in this game, and he closes within 20 lines. From dummy half, Smart gives to Hay. Is there more for the Tigers? Is there more on the premiership cake tonight? Field brought down, 15 out from the line. They build inside, and this is Smart, cut out across to charging inboard to O'Hare, and he bounces off a couple, still going, gives to Gorman, puts the kick in, and it's rolling, and Tuindavai watches it go dead. 16-point margin here, and Gundagai at the very least have absorbed some time on the clock. You are true too, Pert. The trainer's gone out to Lockie Bristow and just having a chat to him after that solid hit by Field.
No one wants to go off though, do they? Especially the grand final. Just shows what it means to him as well, I guess. You're down by 16, 5 to go. Not much to play for at this point in time, but doesn't want to let the team down.
Tuindavai. Can he do something incredible in the last dying stages here? They're moments away, really. Gundagai, 5:40 to go. And they lead the grand final by 16. A perfect position for them and their supporters. Here's Bristow, and now Bite charging. Bite making a bit of a run. How's Matty Lyons for a tackle? Juggling the ball here is Pearce, and then lifted up and dumped down. And no penalty. Bristow back to Tuindavai, who's charging up, tout in the way on this occasion. So Tuindavai, one of the better players for Tumut Blues this afternoon. Bristow out wide for Jeffrey. Flick it very wide to Aragon, who was a try scorer earlier. And he's dragged towards the sideline and just kept in. Just kept away from touch. Now Jeffrey passes back across. Toppin's going to send a nice and high ball. Well, he doesn't in the end. He sticks it down the throat of Smart. And the speedy fullback will bring it out towards. Picked up and dumped. How is the tackle by Pearce driven back? A big tackle late in the game by Pearce. Turt too. Four and a half minutes to play. Now back underway again, Lions. Gundagai inside their own 40. Smart gives across to Tout, who gets up towards, well, he's actually really made no great distance. Still shy of the 40. Just of note, the countdown timer on the clock on the scoreboard has not started, Pert, so we could be here all night at this stage. Tumut still a chance. The scoreboard clock is not counting down, so it's playing in favour of Tumut. That could be an issue maybe if they score.
Again.
How is this for a run by the leader? He charges out shy of the 40. Inside their half, Gundagai. Hay with a kick, a tumbling ball, an awkward sort of ball. Guessing it down here is Bristow and bringing it out. And the scoreboard time still has not restarted. They are a chance with no time ticking. Bristow passes it back up, across. Aragon goes down. 30 out from their own line. Bristow back in board across to his running teammate here in McGrath. McGrath now to Windavai. Hate to see this man's meters today, Pert. He's gathered plenty.
It's been enormous, hasn't he?
That clock is ticking now. The Toppin did its best to help Tumut. Toppin a high ball. And safely taken underneath all of this is by O'Hare. And O'Hare charges up, eventually brought down by McGrath. Gorman, a little goose step. Just shy of halfway, Gundagai here. 3.5 to play in the Group 9 2020 Grand Final. Tout. Now he's brought down. Gundagai building again. Berkery trying to be creative to Matty Lyons. That don't argue, gives out towards Jack. And Jack along the sideline still going. Can he get a double himself? He does. Between the brothers, they've got 5. And it's party time at Gundagai tonight.
That man again in the middle of the field. I said, you know, when it got 10 minutes to go and there was a 3-try chance for Tumut, Berkery was there. He was filthy on the bench and he took it on his shoulders again. He's going another charge up the middle again, and that time, eyes up. He knows that Tumut are down to defender, sees to the edge, gets it to that danger man on the edge in line, and he puts his brother away again.
Well, Pert, you did say before that Jack's going to owe Matt a beer. That would probably make it 2 beers, although it may have to wait a few hours because I don't think anyone in a Tigers jumper will be buying one tonight.
No, not at all, mate. Look, credit to Jack there as well. There's a lot to do. He was still 35 out, had 2 defenders to beat, so great finish by Jack as well, but that lead up between Berkery and Lyons, outstanding.
Well, it's got to be the best time, doesn't it now? You got a couple of minutes to go. They've absorbed a little nervous energy, I guess, for a moment by Tumut, but really they've had it in control, and now they definitely know it is impossible for Tumut to get over the top now. And they'll enjoy this. To add the extras here will be Damien Willis on the ground.
So Damien's been playing for years, mate. He's great player for Gundagai, and I don't know, kicking this last goal, I assume he's probably saying, this is my last game, so I think he said that a number of times before, so he may well be back next year.
Well, he can say that he's added the last points in the grand final, possibly. We still have a minute and a half to play. But Gundagai and Tumut, who couldn't really be separated throughout the 2020 COVID season, it's been fantastic for Group 9 to actually get the season up and going eventually. And it is a premiership in the book for Gundagai Tigers. Such a rich tradition at this football club. Tumut in no great hurry to kick it off either. They've got nothing to gain from the last minute, to be honest. And you imagine from here, Gundagai will just quite simply just absorb and count down this time. No real razzle-dazzle, you would imagine. Unless you're Matty Lyons, he might have other words or other ideas if he gets the ball. Well, it's been a good game, Pert.
I've enjoyed it. It's been some high-quality skill, and I mean, Gundagai, they scored that first try early off a great bit of play. Again, with those 2 men we've spoken about a lot through the call, Berkery and Lyon, but I guess that just set the tone for the day. We didn't really know how that game would play out, but Gundagai have been on top from word go. There he goes. Smarty kicks it over. Party time for Gundagai.
All over Gundagai, a 2020 Group 9 Premiers, 40-18 by 22 points. Emphatic fashion in the end. They were brilliant. Matty Lyons with 3, and also his brother Jack Lyons with 2. Probably capping off what was a sensational game. They led from go to woe. They were brilliant, 22-4 up at halftime, and they'll have the spoils tonight. Adrian Purtell, as you just said, very thoroughly deserving 4X gold champions of first grade.
Without a doubt, they just were in control from the start. They played, their completion rate must have been really high. They had really great discipline. Didn't give away any penalties from note that I can recall, but Tumut never really got into the game. They had a few opportunities early inside that 20 zone, and they knocked the ball on play 1, play 2, and never built any pressure to really get in the game. Whereas you look at Gundagai, their chances, even half chances, the O'Hare try, the Lion try, half chances that they turned into points, which you need to in a big day like today. And Gundagai, well and truly deserved that win today.
Games for you, obviously yourself playing with your brother. I was sitting next to the family up the end as well. Where does this game rank for you?
Oh mate, that's unreal. It's doesn't feel real. To play with my brother and then to get the win. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
What does it say about this team to come out the performance you did today? Probably one of the most complete team performances you've put on all year.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon we're the better team all year, but we just kind of all come together right now at the right time. Yeah.
I suppose, how much fun has it been playing with your brother again? Some days it just looks like you're playing backyard footy, just on the same wavelength.
Yeah, mate, that was it was unreal. Words can't describe it. Yeah. Lost for words. Yeah, massive. We were playing in patches for sure, but the Lions boys are unreal today and really got us on the front foot. And once we got that momentum, we knew we sort of had it in the bag. But we were a bit lacklustre there in a few stages, and they came back. But I'm sure the crowd will be pretty happy, and we'll have a couple of days party here now.
I suppose how big were those first couple of goal line stands where you forced them to kind of fumble the ball early on? It really seemed to take the wind out of their sails.
Yeah, no, I think we set the pressure early. We came here with a good mentality, and we wanted to take it to them. And they've got a big pack, and we got them on the back foot early, and yeah, we sort of reaped the reward, so pretty happy with that.
You seem to really nullify their pack as well at stages, whether it be with the high ball where you're kicking off, not letting them get that full head of steam. Was that part of the plan going into today?
Yeah, we were just looking to go through the motions really, and kick long and tackle hard, and we did that early on, and got us the lead that we needed to take the game away. So yeah, very happy.
I suppose this is right up the top in terms of bragging rights. You can't get much bigger than this.
Yeah, that's it. No, it's good to get the wood on them. They got us last year in the major semi, so to get it back on them today, great for the town. Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Cool. Cheers, mate.
Okay, folks. There we have it. Grand final for 2020. Tumut Tigers at Premiers. Referee for the game was Scotty Muir. When you threw over, that'd be great. Okay, next duty here is to announce the John Hill medal for the match. And the John Hill medal goes to Young Guy Tiger number 10, Luke Burberry. Okay, can I have the skipper of the Tumut side up, please, just to say a couple of words? Glenn?
Gundagai, Group 9 premiers for 2020. Ned Balm is down at ground level. Prime 7 Wagga, Ned Balm.
Years ago, you waited so long to get your first one. How does this feel coming in for a second title?
Yeah, I guess the second time around you can just really take it all in and just enjoy it with the boys. First time around it was just a massive weight off my shoulders, and yeah, so it's just, especially leading by a comfortable margin there the last few minutes, it was just nice to soak it all in and all look around at all our supporters here and just enjoy the moment with the boys. So yeah, it doesn't get much better.
I suppose how much more important is this win to take back to the community, given the hardships everyone's faced this year? It must be good to give the town something to cheer about.
Yeah, 100%. And as soon as the season started, the whole town just, as they always do, just got behind it. And I think it was, rugby league was, especially for Gundagai, just something for people to look forward to on the weekends, and probably gives everyone that outlet and away from everything else that's going on. So especially the club's had such a successful year, 16s in the grand final today, reserve grade just continue rolling on and winning another comp. So yeah, it's just awesome to be a part of it. I just feel really privileged.
I suppose, how are you feeling heading into the game? Were you a bit nervous given you had the extended layoff with the thumb?
Yeah, I was a bit nervous just with that sort of particular injury and to come in and play fullback. So, but obviously in the back of my mind I knew that if anything was to happen, I had a pretty capable replacement there in Dane O'Hare. He's the best. He's the best I've seen. So that was always something that we kept up our sleeve if we needed to. So that sort of put my mind at ease.
And generally speaking, obviously a big junior base to choose from, and Burke's taking the reins next year. Do you think the club's in a pretty good position to try and repeat?
100%, and it's our 100 years next year. So yeah, we're in a great position, and there's already plenty of talk. Everyone's excited about next year, but it's just awesome that we still came in today and got the job done.
Ed Balm down there at ground level with victorious player there, James Smart of the Gundagai Tigers. It's a phenomenal performance this afternoon. Come into the game, nothing between the two sides, and they'll leave victorious. I think Ned might just make his way to one last man out there for us before we end our coverage tonight. The jubilant Gundagai side. Looks like he's going to try to make his way across to Luke Berkery. Maybe not. We might go back down to Barmy again. So many heroes about this story of Gundagai. So many to carve their name into folklore. Got the Lions brothers in front of us, and let's go to Barm.
Never get sick of winning premierships, mate. It's always a tough road to get there, and you appreciate it more and more the older that you get. So yeah, very very humbled and to get another one, for sure.
I suppose the question seems to come around Gundagai each year. Will Willow go again? You've said this year that you're done. Are you done?
Yeah. 100% I'm done. A little bit emotional. Just the bodies, it just takes too much to sort of get ready for a game. And as much as I love the boys and I love playing footy, I'm 36 years old. I've been lucky enough to play in some really great sides at Gundagai and win 3 premierships. So yeah, I'm definitely done now.
I suppose, how much easier does it make a decision like that when you can finish like you are today and you see just the quality of the juniors coming through and the state that the club's in heading into its 100th year?
Very easy. I think there's so many good kids through the entire club, and even guys that are playing reserve grade that probably should be playing first grade at any other club. So it's really pleasing to see, like I said, so many good kids, and the club's in good position going into the 100th year for sure.
I suppose this year they probably had to rely on you a little less, a bit more time being able to watch. How much fun has it been being able to watch the Lions boys go to work?
Mate, they're pretty special, those two boys. Matty and Jack, they're just unbelievable things that they can do. No other blokes can do that sort of stuff. So it's they're very exciting, and hopefully we'll lock them up for a few more years to come.
And how do you plan to? How do you celebrate in the COVID era in Gundagai tonight?
I think we're going down to the ground, a few beers down there, and we'll see what happens, I guess. But yeah.
Thank you. Congrats, mate.
Good on you, mate.
Well done to Ned Baum. Thanks very much for his coverage after the game from Prime 7 in Wagga. You can see a full coverage of that on Prime 7 tomorrow night from 6 p.m. And that is a wrap from us from All In Sports. We really do appreciate your company. Apologise for the break in transmission during the reserve grade today. But until next year, thanks for your company. Thanks for everyone that watched. But it was the Gundagai Tigers Group 9 premiers for 4X Gold in 2020. 40 points to 18.